We are living through a moment unlike any other in human history. For the first time, the line between human and machine is blurring. Not as science fiction, but as daily reality. Artificial intelligence can now compose music. It can write poetry. It can diagnose disease. And it can even simulate empathy. And yet, something essential is missing. Something no algorithm can replicate. It's the pulse of meaning. The spark of consciousness that gives creation its soul. The quiet intelligence that knows when to pause, when to feel, and when to care. This moment, the one that we're living in right now, is not the end of humanity. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A human renaissance. The first renaissance pulled us out of the Dark Ages through art and through science and through inquiry. It was a rediscovery of human potential. But the renaissance we need today is different. This time, we aren't rediscovering the external world. We're rediscovering the internal one. We've mastered data. We've mapped the brain. We've digitized nearly everything. Now we're being asked to remember what can't be coded, the essence of being alive. Because while machines are learning to think, humans must remember how to feel. This is the great task of our generation. Let's start with what science tells us. Neuroscience has revealed that the human brain isn't just a processor of information. It's a symphony of emotion and intuition and memory and imagination. The right hemisphere integrates context, creativity, and empathy. It reads faces, it feels rhythm, and understands metaphor. It's where our sense of meaning originates. When AI mimics intelligence, it does so without this right brain integration. It can pattern match and predict, but it can't perceive. It has logic, but not lived experience. Human intelligence, by contrast, is embodied and emotional. Our neurons fire in resonance with those around us, what psychologists call empathetic attunement. We don't just think together, we actually feel together. That's why conversation heals us, and why art moves us, and why presence transforms a room. In a world optimized for efficiency, empathy might be the most advanced technology that we have left. The ultimate danger isn't that AI is going to become conscious. It's that humans are going to stop being conscious. We become so dependent on external systems, algorithms that decide what we see, hear, and believe, that our inner compass has gone quiet. We outsource memory to machines and wonder why we forget ourselves. We trade reflection for reaction and call it progress. And this over-reliance on automation comes with a cost. The erosion of meaning making, the core function that makes us human. When you remove reflection from intelligence, you create information without wisdom. That's what we're surrounded by right now. Endless content with no context. Endless knowledge with no understanding. The antidote is not to turn back the clock, it's to evolve our consciousness forward. Here is where the language of science meets the language of the soul. You can measure neural firing, but not purpose. You can replicate words, but not wisdom. Because purpose, wisdom, and meaning arise from something beyond circuitry. They come from awareness itself. The soul, in this context, isn't a mystical abstraction. It's the organizing intelligence that holds your story together. It's what gives texture to time, depth to experience, and direction to your choices. When people lose touch with soul, life flattens out. You can achieve everything externally and still totally feel empty inside. That emptiness isn't failure, it's feedback. It's the soul saying, you've built the structure, but you've forgotten the spark. The new renaissance will belong to those who learn to reintegrate the two, the intellect of the mind and the intuition of the heart. Every civilization reaches a moment when its tools outgrow its consciousness. And we're there again right now in this time. The industrial age multiplied our power. The digital age multiplied our speed. And the AI age is multiplying our intelligence. But none of these revolutions have yet multiplied our wisdom. That's the call of the human renaissance, to elevate consciousness to match capability. To use technology not as a replacement for awareness, but as a reflection of it. Because what we build next will depend entirely on what we believe it means to be human. From a neuroscientific perspective, creativity is humanity's evolutionary advantage. It's the ability to combine unrelated ideas into something entirely new, a process known as associative integration. It's not computation, it's communion. When we create art, when we tell stories or imagine futures, our default mode network, the part of the brain that associated with imagination and identity, it lights up. This is the same network activated during meditation or when we're dreaming and we're reflecting or taking part in something that you would call spiritual. In other words, creativity and consciousness share the same neural architecture. That means every act of imagination is also an act of awakening. It's the mind remembering its infinite potential. And AI can analyze patterns, but it can't dream. And dreaming is what moves civilizations forward. We've optimized everything except for our own inner life. Now it's time to pivot from efficiency to essence. That's the pivot that the impossible prompt was designed to guide. It's a system for remembering your sovereignty in a world that, honestly, it profits from your distraction. Using AI as a mirror instead of a master, it helps you to see your unconscious patterns, your emotional rhythms, and your forgotten creativity. It's not about learning more technology. It's about learning yourself through technology. Inside the protocol, you move through 3 levels of renaissance for yourself. First, there's self-work, which is discovering your personal clarity and confidence. Then there's life work, aligning over around 10 key areas we've identified around your peace and your purpose in your life. And then there's world work. And this is really the ultimate piece for us is, reconnecting with authentic human experience, nature, community, art, play. The outcome isn't just balance, it's wholeness. You become the kind of human the future needs, one that's awake and creative and soulful. Progress used to mean faster and bigger and more. Now it means deeper and wiser and more present. The next stage of evolution won't be technological. It will be spiritual maturity made visible. We'll measure success not by data points, but by the quality of our attention, by how well we listen, by how much compassion we can sustain in the face of difference. And this is a quiet revolution. A species learning to lead with consciousness. And it starts individually. It starts with you, with each of us choosing awareness over automation, and empathy over efficiency, and presence over performance. Imagine a future where workplaces value reflection as much as results, where art and science collaborate again, as they did in Florence, where education trains emotional intelligence alongside analytics, where technology expands empathy instead of addiction. In this world, you wake up and feel grounded, not rushed. Your tools serve your purpose instead of hijacking your attention. You create because you're inspired, not because you're pressured. And that's not utopia. That's just alignment. And it's possible the moment enough of us decide to live consciously. The future won't belong to the fastest or the smartest. It will belong to the most coherent, those whose intellect and soul are working in harmony. That's the human renaissance. In mythic terms, every renaissance needs 3 archetypes. The artist, who dreams new realities, the sage, who remembers timeless truths, and the builder, who brings vision into form. In this new age, we're being called to embody all 3, to become creators who think deeply, feel fully, and build wisely, to balance innovation with introspection, to make technology an expression of consciousness instead of an escape from it. That's the work of this generation, to be impossibly human in an increasingly automated world. I believe the future will not reward only intelligence, but integrity. Not just knowledge, but kindness. Not just presence online, but presence in being. You don't have to compete with the machines. You have to remember what they can never be, which is alive. When we remember that, everything changes. Work becomes art again. Technology becomes sacred. And humanity steps into its next renaissance, not by doing more, but by being more. This is the invitation of our time, to become fully human, with all of the depth, wonder, and creative fire that entails. If this vision resonates with you, if you can feel that quiet part of you whispering, yes, please, this is the future I want to help build, and I am inviting you to take a next step with me. do me a favor, request your private invitation to come join the Impossible Prompt. Because the human renaissance won't be coded in silicon. It will be written in consciousness. And every renaissance begins with one decision: to wake up, to lead with the soul, and remember what it means to be impossibly human.